Read the passage, then answer the questions. From Sir Ivaine by Maud L. Radford in King Arthur's and His Knights. Among King Arthur's knights of the Round Table was one who was a mixture of good and bad, as indeed most people are. His name was Sir Ivaine, kind-hearted and merry, but at the same time fickle and sometimes forgetful of his promises, and inclined to make light of serious things. One night in the early spring, the knights and ladies of Arthur's court were sitting in the dining hall. The king and Guinevere had withdrawn, but were expected to return. Supper had been served. 4 little pages in blue and white velvet kirtles sat on stools, watching the fire, and perhaps dreaming of the days when they too should be warriors and have adventures. Sir Ivaine was telling of his experience with the Black Knight. "It was when I was very young," he said. "Indeed, I had just been made a knight. Someone told me of the wicked Black Knight who lived and still lives in a wood and a long way from here. Knowing that he did much evil, I was determined to kill him. I rode to the wood where he lived. Then a great storm of wind and rain arose, and when it was at its height, the Black Knight rode up and began to attack me. We fought for a little while, but he easily overthrew me. Thinking me dead, he rode back, leaving me on the ground. But after a time, I was able to mount my horse and went back to my mother's castle. At this moment, the king and queen entered, unperceived by anyone except Sir Ivaine. The young man, who was always polite, sprang to his feet. Then the other knights rose. Sir Kay, who was not always sweet-tempered, said to Sir Ivaine, "We all know that you are very polite, but you have more courtesy than bravery." At that, Sir Ivaine said, "I was almost a boy when the Black Knight overthrew me, but I could conquer him now." It is very easy to say that after you have eaten," said Sir Kay. "Almost any knight feels brave and self-satisfied when he has had a good supper of venison." The king asked what the conversation was about, and Sir Ivaine repeated the story of his venture, adding, "And, Sir King, I crave your permission to set forth tomorrow to slay this Black Knight who is a pest in the land." "I have heard of this man," said the king, "and have often thought of sending someone to punish him, but he lives far away, and it has been necessary heretofore to right first the wrongs nearest home. Yet now his evil deeds and persecutions must cease. Tomorrow a company of us will set forth and conquer him and all his people." The king named some 6 of his knights, Sir Ivaine among them, who were to undertake this adventure. Sir Ivaine was displeased. He thought that the adventure should be his alone. So he rose in the middle of the night and stole away unattended, determined to go in advance of the others and kill the Black Knight. It did not occur to him that in proving himself brave, he was also proving himself disobedient. 1. Select the detail that best supports the idea that Sir Ivaine is a confident character. A. But after a time I was able to mount my horse and went back to my mother's castle. B. It was when I was very young, he said. Indeed, I had just been made a knight. C. Knowing that he did much evil, I was determined to kill him. Number 2. What is the theme of the passage? Support your answer with details. Number 3. Which sentence best summarizes what happens after the king instructed his knights to take over the Black Knight's kingdom? A. Sir Ivaine became enraged with the king's decision. B. The king named the knights that will embark in the adventure. C. Sir Ivaine decided to prove why the king should have only enlisted him to take on this adventure by going ahead of the rest of the knights and killed the Black Knight. D. The king and the knights continued to enjoy the night before their adventure. Number 4. Choose 2 sentences that best show the theme presented in the passage. A. Knowing that he did much evil, I determined to kill him. B. His name was Sir Ivaine, brave, kind-hearted, and merry, but at the same time fickle sometimes, forgetful of his promises. and inclined to make light of serious things. C. 4 little pages in blue and white velvet kirtles sat on stools watching the fire, and perhaps dreaming of the days when they too should be warriors and have adventures. D. I have heard of this man, said the king, and have often thought of sending someone to punish him. E. It did not occur to him that in proving himself brave, he was also proving himself disobedient.